And welcome back to American Agenda. We just spoke with former Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos about the investigation into the origins of the Russia probe. Former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who appointed Special Counsel Robert Mueller to lead the investigation, is testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee right now. Joining us to provide a legal perspective into all of this is public policy and appellate attorney Paul Kamenar. Paul had previously challenged Mueller's authority when he represented a former Roger Stone aide who sought to defy a grand jury subpoena. Paul, thanks for joining us today. Paul, I'm assuming that you've been watching some of the testimony. I want to get your initial thought on it.
Sure, yes. We challenged Robert Mueller's authority when he subpoenaed an aide to Roger Stone, and we were supported by the National Legal and Policy Center. And our whole argument was that Mueller was unconstitutional. And furthermore, to show that, we were showing how biased he was, and as well as Rod Rosenstein. And so what's going on here is they're going to get to the bottom of this. They're going to find out who was doing the lying that was going on and the corruption inside the FBI. And what I'm finding really amazing is that Rod Rosenstein is coming out as sort of an angel here, like, gee, I didn't know there was no Russia collusion. If I would have known this, I would not have authorized the FISA warrants. But here's the facts. They tried to set Flynn up on a false charge on a Russia investigation when they had no evidence of that. Secondly, by August 2017, they knew there was no Russia collusion, and yet they were issuing subpoenas against Roger Stone to find more Russia collusion. So that was a bogus and corrupt investigation. And the bias is just incredible, especially Rod Rosenstein. Here you have him sending a memo to Trump to fire Comey, which because Comey was messed up the Hillary Clinton email, but Trump fired him anyway, and he said, oh, I was going to fire him anyway. I didn't rely on Rosenstein's memo. Well, that made Rosenstein very mad. The New York Times reported on it. He had an axe to grind with Trump, and it showed. What did he do next? He expanded Mueller's investigation of Paul Manafort into tax issues, having nothing to do with the Russia collusion. That could easily have gone to a regular U.S. attorney. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to keep on going to after the Trump campaign advisor, the Trump campaign. Third, it was alleged that he was wired up, Rosenstein had somebody else to try to get statements by Trump showing that he was not mentally stable and that maybe we should invoke the 26th Amendment and get him out of office and appoint Pence to be the president. Finally, he issued an indictment, big press conference against 6 GRU agents a few days before Trump had a summit with Putin to say, hey, there was this Russia interference. That could have waited until after the summit meeting. They were interfering with foreign affairs. So the whole thing was corrupt from beginning to end. And what should happen is that Flynn should have his case dismissed. Flynn should be pardoned. Roger Stone should be pardoned. And what should happen next is that they should indict the people that were involved in this cover-up. And I expect that to be coming in the next month or two.
And what would the cover-up be in your mind? Is that what would be coming from Durham or the Senate hearings? Where would all that information come from?
Yeah, thank you. It would be coming from multiple sources. Durham is the one that's looking into all of this, and is looking at the various lies that were going on, where they were altering emails, where they were having emails by Strzok and Lisa Page saying we got to get Trump out of here. The setup that they did with Flynn going into the White House saying, hey, let's try to get him to lie or to get him fired. The evidence with the dossier memo, they knew that was false information and was sponsored by the DNC, and they were relying on that to get the 4 FISA warrants against Carter Page and others. So there's a lot to become unearthed here, and I'm confident that Darden and Durham and Barr will get to the bottom of this, and the Senate Judiciary Committee certainly will.
All right, we have about 30 seconds. Who else do you expect they'll call to testify?
Well, there's, I think, a list of 15 to 20 other ones that they want to testify. I haven't seen the latest list, but obviously they'll want to get Comey there to find out what was going on at the time. They may bring Mueller back up. So there's a whole host of characters to be looked at.
Yeah. Okay. Paul Kamenar, thank you so much for joining us. Shed light on how you perceive what's going on right now. And we're going to have more on the spreading violence in America after this.